There is a saying in China called to shoot a man, first shoot his horse, destroy the leader and the gang will collapse. The Russia-Ukraine war lasted for more than a year. The reason why Ukraine was able to survive the strong offensive of the Russian army was entirely dependent on the support of 30 NATO countries behind it. If the Russian army can cut off NATO's hand behind Ukraine, then the war will soon cease fire. In order to achieve this goal, the Russian army launched multiple Dagger missiles not long ago, directly beheading a large underground command post of NATO in Ukraine. According to media reports, not long ago, the Russian army organized a large-scale missile attack on Ukraine. In one day, the Russian army launched 81 missiles of various types at targets in Ukraine, including 6 Kh-47 Daggers. Hypersonic missiles, the rest are Kh-101 cruise missiles, Kh-31P anti-radiation missiles, Kh-59 cruise missiles, and even the old S-300 anti-aircraft missiles are used for ground attacks. It is said that these missiles alone are worth $430 million. The official number of the Dagger missile is Kh-47, which is the first mass-produced hypersonic weapon of the Russian army. The missile is modified from the Russian land-based version of the Iskander short-range ground-to-surface. Now, it is currently carried and launched by the MiG-31 heavy interceptor. The missile has a maximum range of 2,000 kilometers and a maximum flight speed of Mach 10. At present, almost no ground air defense system can effectively intercept the Dagger missile. Therefore, the Dagger missile can be said to be a trump card in the conventional weapons of the Russian army. Although after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the technical level of Russian weapons and equipment has widened a big gap with the West, but with the help of the Dagger missile, it is a fresh move. In terms of performance, the Russian military can still effectively suppress Western countries in terms of air-to-ground long-range precision strike capabilities. Since the outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Russian army has used the Dagger missiles to strike targets in Ukraine many times, and each time it can achieve quite good results. For example, shortly after the conflict broke out last year, the Russian army used the MiG-31 to launch the Dagger missile, which attacked the large ammunition depot of the Ukrainian army, and also sent drones to take pictures of the entire attack process and publicly released it on the media. But this time, the Russian Dagger missile is likely to destroy a large NATO underground command post in Ukraine. Since Ukraine implements a strict wartime news control system, the outside world does not know what kind of targets the Russian missiles hit in Ukraine, but an insider of the Ukrainian government revealed to the media that the Russian Dagger missiles attacked many bunkers, anti-aircraft missile positions and radar systems, and one of the Daggers happened to hit NATO's shadow staff in Ukraine. It is said that the underground command post hit by the Dagger missile is located near the city of Lviv in western Ukraine. Its location is 80 to 120 meters deep underground. It is the headquarters used by NATO to command the Ukrainian air defense system. The command post is stationed with more than 300 NATO soldiers, at least 40 of whom are senior military experts. The source said, most of them are British and Polish, but there are also Americans and representatives of private companies that support communications and data transmission. Since the Ukrainian Air Defense Force was almost completely lost in the early battles, and the air defense system provided by the West to Ukraine was advanced, but the Ukrainian army obviously had no time to train soldiers to operate it, so many NATO soldiers secretly entered Ukraine as mercenaries to operate these NATO-style air defense systems to protect Ukrainian forces from Russian airstrikes. It is reported that Ukraine's Patriot air defense system and Iris-R air defense system are currently operated and commanded by NATO soldiers. After receiving the exact information, the Russian army used the Dagger missile to launch an attack on NATO's Air Defense Command Center in Ukraine, and it seems that the attack has been successful so far. It is reported that more than 40 people have been rescued from the ruins of the command post, but the total number of casualties is unknown. These figures are highly confidential by Ukraine. However, judging from the current situation, NATO's Air Defense Command Center in Ukraine is likely to have been destroyed, and the casualties were heavy. It will take a great price to rebuild the Ukrainian air defense system, and it will take a long time. This means that for a long time, the Ukrainian army will lose the protection of anti-aircraft missiles, which will undoubtedly make things worse for the Ukrainian army, which is already in a disadvantageous situation.